Y'all came here, everything you say, y'all look a hot ass mess. You're whack, and you're deflected, and all you do is talk about everything but all your. What are you talking about? That's in the blog. I ain't got it. I informed you ain't 4K HD, and guess what? I stand on that.
Y'all set me up. Rasheeda screamed, slamming the table so hard the mix shook. Her eyes darted around the room, searching for backup. But no one moved. Not the cast, not the crowd, not even Kirk, because deep down, everyone knew the setup wasn't from producers. It was from her own past. Her chest heaved, her voice cracked, and every word sounded less like power and more like panic. The Queen of Atlanta wasn't fighting Yandy anymore. She was fighting the ghost of her own humiliation. And the louder she yelled, the more the room smelled of desperation. Yandy didn't flinch. She didn't yell, didn't even blink. She leaned back in her chair, legs crossed, sipping water with a smirk that felt like psychological warfare. Every scream from Rasheeda only made her silence heavier. Fans watching caught it instantly. Twitter lit up with memes. Rasheeda shaking, Yandy sipping. Captions read, "When obsession meets composure." Hashtags flew. Hashtag Team NDY. Hashtag RASHEEDA pressed. Hash DNA reunion. Then came the shift. Kirk finally stood, silent all night, sitting in the shadows like a ghost hunting his own marriage. Now he adjusted his jacket and tried to shield his wife. "Y'all not gonna do my wife like this," he said, steady voice but nervous eyes. The room froze. For over a decade, his name had been tied to humiliation, the hot tub, the side baby, the earrings, the DNA test. His presence was gasoline. Fans online dragged him instantly, not Kirk defending when he the reason she pressed. Rasheeda clung to his words. "See, my man stands by me. That's loyalty. That's what you'll never have." She shouted across the table at Yandy. But nobody saw loyalty. They saw receipts. This was the man who once swabbed his own child on TV. The man who turned Atlanta into a punchline. TikTok ads popped up within minutes. Kirk standing stiff, captioned, "This the loyalty?" Yandy finally leaned forward, her voice cool and sharp. "Funny."
Wait a minute. Did this woman just really say for me to stay out her business? Me stay out your business? I don't even talk about your business. I don't do podcasts. I will never form my lips to call that woman a friend. The things that you have done, how low you have gone, is just distasteful, is disgraceful, and it is disgusting. Stay away from me.
"Funny," she said, eyes locked on Rasheeda. "How you trust him now?" But didn't trust him back then without a DNA test. The room gasped. It wasn't loud, but it cut like a blade. Rasheeda's face drained. Her lips trembled. She had no comeback. The cast shifted. Spice whistled low. Erica hid her smirk. Even Mendices muttered, "Damn, that's cold." The producers zoomed in, catching every flicker of shame on Rasheeda's face. Online, the clip spread like wildfire. Not the DNA drag part 2. Trying to recover, Rasheeda screamed about respect, crowns, and being the Queen of Atlanta. "Without me and Kirk, there is no show." She jabbed the table like a gavel. But Yandy just tilted her head, calm as ever, waiting to strike. And then she did. Crowns don't come from ratings. Crowns come from respect.
Girl, I don't think you ever need to tell nobody you gave me no more job on Love and Hip Hop, because I came in and ate your ass up. Your show got canceled, girl. Me, I increased ratings. Me and my husband. Contrary to what anybody want to believe, we all know who the queen and the king is of Love and Hip Hop franchise.
And baby, respect don't live in your house. Gasp shot across the room. Rasheeda shook her head, shouting louder, but her power was slipping into panic. The internet went ruthless. TikTok edits paired her meltdown with Kirk's hot tub receipts. Instagram captions mocked, "Queen of what? Humiliation." Twitter split-screened her red face with Yandy's calm smirk next to Mortal Kombat's finish her. And just when it seemed like Yandy was done, she leaned forward again, tone softer but deadly. "You keep talking about loyalty. About who's a queen," she said, narrowing her eyes. "But let's not forget you weren't the only one swabbing in Atlanta. There's another DNA test nobody wants to talk about." The room froze. Even the producers looked stunned. Rasheeda's face twisted in shock. "What are you talking about?" she snapped, her voice cracking with fear. But Yandy didn't answer. She sat back, arms folded, letting silence do the damage. The cast erupted in whispers. Spice gasped, Erica clutched her chest. And the audience behind the cameras shifted like they just witnessed an earthquake. Because this wasn't shade anymore, it was a bomb. Online. Chaos hit instantly. Fans clipped the moment. Who else got DNA tests in Atlanta? Theories flew, conspiracies spread, old receipts resurfaced. Some swore she was hinting at another Kirk scandal. Others thought another cast member was involved. Whatever it was, the seed was planted. And Rasheeda. She looked cornered. Rasheeda slammed the table, finger jabbing at Yandy. You lying. You making stuff up. That's all you do, lie for a storyline. But her trembling voice betrayed her fear. Kirk tried to step in again, but his silence screamed louder than anything. He didn't deny it. He didn't defend her. He just stared at the floor, and the cameras caught every second. The silence hung heavy, like smoke after an explosion. For the first time all night, Rasheeda didn't look like the Queen of Atlanta. She looked cornered. Yandy, calm as ever, gave her a final glance and whispered, "This ain't the last DNA test, baby." Atlanta still got questions. Chaos erupted. Cast members shouting, producers scrambling, security stepping closer. But the cameras never cut because this wasn't just reality TV, it was history in the making. The DNA drag had already gone viral. But this new bomb? It was about to rewrite Atlanta's legacy. In the middle of the storm, Rasheeda shook with rage. Her voice cracked as she pointed across the stage. "Say it, if you bold, say it with your chest. Don't sit there acting like you got something on me when everybody knows you fake." The desperation in her words only made Yandy's silence more powerful. She leaned back, calm, letting the tension tick like a bomb. Kirk placed a hand on his wife's shoulder, but it made her look weaker. The internet wasted no time. Edits flooded in, the blind leading the press, because nobody saw his presence as strength. He was the very receipt Yandy had just dragged into the light, and when he finally opened his mouth, "We've been through worse. We'll get through this too." The audience didn't clap. They laughed. Worse wasn't comfort. It was a reminder of a decade of humiliation. Yandy tilted her head. "Eyes sharp. You keep saying worse like humiliation is a badge of honor. But the only thing worse is pretending your pain is power." The words hit heavy. Rasheeda froze for a beat, glanced at Kirk, then snapped again. "You obsessed with me. That's all this is, obsessed. You talk about me on podcasts, interviews. Everywhere. You ain't got a storyline of your own." She slammed her fist so hard a glass tipped, water spilling across the stage. The cast gasped. Spice muttered, "This woman losing it." But Yandy didn't blink. She leaned forward with that same calm smirk. "Obsessed. Baby, the only obsession here is you begging the world to believe your husband respects you. Respect don't come from DNA tests, side babies, or hot tubs. Respect comes from truth, and truth don't live in your house." Silence drowned the stage. Rasheeda's face flushed, her hands trembled, and for the first time, it looked like she might walk off. Instead, she doubled down, voice cracking louder. "At least I got papers. At least I got a crown. At least I'm real." Her words tumbled out, but desperation was written all over her face. Within minutes, TikTok was flooded, Rasheeda screaming, "I got the crown," under clown filters. Twitter dragged her with captions like, "When you don't have to scream, because the truth already does." And then came the moment that defined the night. Yandy leaned in, locked eyes with her rival, and spoke so calmly it froze the room. "You want to talk about crowns and papers? Let's talk about the DNA test you swore nobody knew about. You think the first one was the only one?" Atlanta remembers. The room gasped like a gunshot. Spice jumped to her feet, clutching her head. Erica's eyes widened. Even Mendices leaned forward, disbelief on his face. Rasheeda's mouth fell open. "You lying. Making things up again." She screamed, her voice cracking. But Kirk gave her nothing, eyes locked on the floor, jaw tight. That silence was louder than any words. The cast whispered furiously. Producers exchanged panicked looks, and fans online went wild. "Wait, another DNA test." Tweets exploded. Instagram dug up old clips, stitching them together like detectives solving a case. Rasheeda pounded the table, tears finally forming. "Don't play with me. Don't you dare lie on my family like that. You crossing the line, Yandy." But the louder she yelled, the smaller she looked. Because everyone watching saw the truth, Rasheeda drowning while Yandy swam circles around her. And Yandy? She leaned back, arms folded, smirk unshaken. "If it's a lie, why does he look like that?" she asked, tilting her head toward Kirk, frozen in shame. The camera zoomed in on his face, catching every flicker of discomfort. The silence suffocated the room. Online, fans clipped the moment immediately, not Kirk folding under pressure again. TikTok plastered his face with the line, "3 earrings never lies." Rasheeda finally cracked, her voice breaking as she shouted, "You're trying to destroy my family. You jealous you could never be me." She pointed at producers, at Yandy, at anyone in sight. But the narrative had already shifted. What she thought was defense had become a spectacle. Her meltdown the very weapon her rival needed. Across the table, Yandy stayed calm, her whisper cutting sharper than any scream. "Nobody has to destroy you, Rasheeda. You've been doing that all on your own. I'm just reminding the world what they already saw." Gasps filled the room. Some clapped despite producers waving them down. The weight of her words was undeniable and irreversible. When the break was called, the energy was electric. Rasheeda trembled, Kirk sat silent, and Yandy looked untouched, legs crossed, chin high, sipping water like she just claimed a crown without lifting a finger. Online, the storm was instant. Hashtags flew. Theories about the second DNA test spread like wildfire. This wasn't just a fight, it was a cultural reset. Back on camera, Rasheeda snapped again. She shot out of her chair, finger stabbing the air. "You will never sit above me in this city. Never." But the words cracked like a plea, not a command. The cast smirked, Spice muttered, "Lord, this woman losing it." Yandy tilted her head, calm as ice. "Respect isn't about the city, it's about the truth. And the truth don't lie." Even when you do, the reaction was instant. Gasps, claps, shocked faces. Online, the line exploded into the new anthem. TikTok edits slowed her delivery. Twitter crowned it one of the coldest reads in love and hip-hop history. Desperate. Rasheeda swung below the belt. "Your man don't even love you. He told people he couldn't stand you." The jab was venom, meant to wound, not expose. The room shifted uncomfortably. But Yandy only laughed a slow, mocking laugh that made the outburst worse. "At least when my man disrespects me, it ain't in front of millions. At least I don't get paid to rewatch my humiliation every season. Respect matters more than papers and baby. All you've got is a title nobody respects." The cast erupted. Gasps, whispers, even nervous laughs. Fans clipped it instantly. "All you've got is a title nobody respects." Then came the kill shot. Yandy pulled out her phone, pressed play, and the room filled with the infamous hot tub footage, Kirk in earrings, surrounded by women. Atlanta's ultimate punchline. Rasheeda's face drained of color, tears welling as the receipts echoed across the stage. The internet went brutal. TikTok spliced a clip with her screaming on the queen. Instagram plastered clown emojis over her face. Twitter threads debated if she should have even shown up. It wasn't just a drag, it was a dismantling. Rasheeda broke down, sobbing. "Y'all set me up. I held this show down for years, and this how y'all treat me." She shook Kirk's arm desperately. "Say something. Tell them it's a lie." But he stood frozen, jaw tight, eyes on the floor. His silence screamed louder than any defense ever could. And the cameras captured it all, her begging, his silence, the queen dethroned in real time. Yandy, calm as ever, leaned forward with her final checkmate. Her voice was low, sharp, undeniable. "Why you got all this energy for me, but none for him? Why is it easier to call me dusty than to call him disrespectful?" The room froze. Gasps echoed, whispers spread. It was a question fans had screamed for years, the one that cut deeper than any DNA drag or hot tub receipt. Rasheeda tried to shout over it, but her voice cracked. The silence after Yandy's words swallowed her hold. Online, the verdict was instant. Team Yandy trended within hours. Edits crowned her the queen of the reunion, while memes mocked Rasheeda's meltdown as a collapse of her credibility. For years she clung to the crown of loyalty and longevity, but now it was slipping, snatched away by Yandy's calm precision as the night dragged on. Rasheeda unraveled. She threatened to walk off set, screamed that edits would ruin her, that producers were trying to erase her legacy. She pointed at the cameras, at the audience, at anyone she could, but it was too late. The footage was already locked, the humiliation already sealed, the ending was brutal. Yandy rose from her chair, adjusted her dress, and looked down with a smirk. "I don't need to prove anything to you. The truth is already on tape. The world saw it. The world judged it. And the world knows exactly what it is." Her heels clicked against the floor as she walked out, the cameras following every step of her quiet victory. Left behind, Rasheeda collapsed into her chair, sobbing as Kirk stood frozen, helpless. The producers didn't cut away, they lingered on the image of a queen dethroned, crown shattered, silence louder than her screams. Online, fans called it the end of an era. This wasn't just another reunion fight, it was the burial of a storyline. The collapse of a reign built on humiliation, and yet, one truth remained in Atlanta. No one stays down forever. Pride claws back. Humiliation breeds revenge. This war wasn't over, this was only the beginning. This was only the beginning.